Want to nail engineering manager interviews at Mang and other top-tier companies? You can with USA's #1 tech interview prep platform. We have 300 plus SMEs and instructors from top-tier tech companies to help you land your dream job. We've helped thousands of engineers make their way into Mang. You could be next. To learn more, register for our free webinar.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
Good to see you again. All right, sounds good. Are you ready to jump right in?
Yeah, sure.
Actually, so before we start, do you have any kind of expectation for this round or anything you like to work on specifically?
No, I don't have something specific. Can I turn off the video because
Yeah. Save some bandwidth.
I'm gonna share my screen, but it looks like I have pretty bad connection. So
okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I forgot what your companies, your FAANG companies, right? Like Google, Facebook. I think that's
I'm working at Workday right now, and I'm looking.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And so far, I think there's if I remember correctly, Emoji Broadcast and Uber, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Cool. Could you share your screen?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So today, let's design Instagram. So Facebook, Instagram. Let's start there. Yeah. How would you go about designing something like Instagram? If you're familiar with it, I can help you explain.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with Instagram because I don't have.
Sure. That's okay. Sounds good. So basically, Instagram, what you can do is you can follow other people. So like if there's a celebrity, you can follow them. And what happens is every time you go on your Instagram dashboard, you can see a list of feeds. And the list of feeds are basically are the people you follow. Posts of the people you follow. Just, imagine like a list of feeds. And so within the feed, there could be a photo and there could be some sort of description for the photo.
Okay, photo and description within a feed. Okay, so actually it's similar to Facebook. It looks like, but is there any limitation and like on description, on photo, how many people can follow and how many people you can follow?
How many people you can follow? Oh, I see. Let's just say you can follow quite a bit. Okay, let's just say like 10,000 max. Yeah.
And one feed, how many followers can have one feed?
How many followers?
Do we have any limit on number of followers per feed? So let's say we have a celebrity and celebrity may have like 1 million followers. Oh,
I see. Right. Let's just say there's no limit.
Yeah, what else? So I can follow people. I can list. I have a dashboard. When I go to, so the use case when I go to my home page, I see a dashboard that contains a list of feeds, right?
Yeah.
Is there any additional functionality on blacklisting certain followers or
No. Blacklist, you mean? Yeah, no blacklist. So just yeah, anybody can see anybody as long as you follow them.
Yeah. So, and let's think about back of the envelope calculation. So I'm trying to understand how many write and read requests we're gonna have. And let's say how many daily active users we're gonna have.
Sorry. Oh, that was a question. How many daily active users you said?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see. Let's just say let's just say 500 million daily active users.
500 million. And let's say write request. Let's say average user may post just one photo or one story per day. Is it a correct assumption?
So what is the assumption? Each person posts one photo?
Yeah, let's say one daily active user may post just one photo. Just to simplify our calculation.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. So let's just say
maybe two.
Yeah, let's just say only 10% of the population posts a photo, and on average they post two.
Oh, only 10%. And
yeah, so for these kind of things, not everybody posts photos.
Posts 2 photos per day?
Yeah, sure.
So we're gonna have let's say 100 million write requests per day, which is equal to let's say approximately 1K writes per second. And read requests. And I believe we have more read requests rather than write requests, right? And
yeah,
every daily active user may check their feed couple times per day, right? So we may end up with 1 billion requests per day.
You mean assuming 2 reads per day per user?
Yeah, every daily active user may.
Sure, that's fine.
So what we need to do, we need to optimize our system for read requests, because we have 1 billion read requests per day. It's approximately let's say 1. Oh, it's yeah, it's 10K. It's we have read request 10 times more than write request. So this is our ratio. And one more question: do we? So I believe it's not necessary to design a system when you immediately see write requests, right? So it's okay to have delay several seconds before you see update, right?
Yeah, some delay is fine. Yeah.
Okay. And so our API may look like so we need to be able to post our photos and descriptions. What do we need? We need to provide user ID, and we need to authenticate the user. And we're gonna return some so we should provide binary data for the photo. Next, description, and so on. So it's gonna be we can use JSON to provide this kind of information. And another request is GET request. So we should be able to see our own, and we're gonna return from the post ID of our story. Let's say we have story. I believe Instagram has called it story, like every post is story. So we return ID, and we should be able to see this any story by ID.
Yeah, I just have a question. So for your HTTP design, sorry, REST design, I'm kind of curious why it's user ID. API/user ID.
Oh, we don't. We actually need to provide probably in the body. We can, yeah. What we need to do, we need to
yeah, it's not a big deal, but I'm just kind of curious why it's user ID. Yeah.
Because I believe the story we may have kind of this relationship. Every story should have a user, and it should every story should belong to some user.
I see. Okay. Sounds fine. Yeah. It's minor. Yeah. Go ahead with the get story. Yeah.
Story ID. And in this case, we should return body with all this information about story, like created time, like author, description, photo, everything that is needed. And one more request probably is get Instagram user ID feed. So in this case, I'm gonna receive a list of stories. So it's gonna be array. And we should provide probably a limit for like maybe page and like 1 and stories. Maybe 20 stories per per page. And we should be able to get 20 stories in the array with it's similar to previous get, but get just returns 1 story. Let's see. And in this case, we return array of stories. And we should be able to paginate the stories and display like the last 20. And maybe we can introduce later some new functionality to filter stories or to get stories from like with certain words or whatever. Yeah, but let's keep it simple. So let's go to high-level design. Are you okay with the API, or do you want to discuss it more?
I think they look pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I always start with like some kind of gateway API that also is responsible for load balancing. It can be responsible for load balancing all requests. And we have like a lot of requests per second. So in total, we may have like 11K requests per second, but they are not evenly distributed. So at some time, we may have more requests. Let's say our peak can be like 3 times per average. Let's say 33K requests, or maybe some event happened and all people wants to see very popular photo or whatever. And we also so gateway may have a lot of functionality like rate limiter, load balancing, authentication, but it redirects if we don't have authenticated user yet. We can redirect it to authentication server to get token. And we, let's say, sorry. So let's concentrate on 2 requests. Well, let's focus on 2 requests. One request is, let's say, post story, and another one is get my feed. And we may have on the backend, what do we want? We want to able to save the stories and efficiently get responses to the user. So, so there are like 2 trade-offs. One way to implement this is like to keep in database all posts and try to find out all posts that I follow. But in this case, we may have like we may have 2 services, like for example, write service or post service. All right. And another one is read service, or let's say feed service. Feed display. So, but in this case, if we keep in database like all our posts, we need to have complicated joins. So I need to find all posts from all people that I follow, and it can be very expensive, especially having this scale. Another approach is to create a feed for each user. So once someone posts a new story, what we actually do, we fan out this story to all users, to all followers. In this case, we don't see immediately all updates, but reads are very fast. Since we need to design our system for a read request, I would prefer the second approach for now.
Okay, that's fine.
So, okay, so let's say we have a write service and write service. So we also may have some kind of user service that authenticate users if needed.
Yeah, don't worry about authentication.
Okay.
All that
stuff. Okay.
Just...
we can talk about it later.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's design the backend for our system. So we need to keep all our posts in database. So let's say we have, and we should be able to display a single post in UI, right? So one way to do it, it's like, I'm thinking about like introducing a new service just to display a single post, and but yeah, let's think about like database and design. So we want to keep our post in database or storage. And what do we need there? We need to keep all followers. So we're gonna have like we're gonna have a story table, and that keeps like story ID and photo, but we're gonna keep photo in. We need a blob database for photo. We can even keep it in like something like a distributed file system, Hadoop, or I believe at Google you prefer something like some key value database, but let's call it blob store.
Yeah,
so it may have some optimizations, and photo is just a path ID to blob ID from blob store, and we're gonna have a separate request to extract this photo. Then we have a description, created time. What else? We may have, we need creator. Something like this. So this is our story, and we need to have in database something like structure for user ID and followers. So we have a bunch of users. Let's say users table. And it has user ID, name, nick, and so on. And we probably have a followers table. So for followers table, we should keep all people that I follow, for example. So we need to have something like user ID and follower ID. And as you can see, to get like all stories that I follow, I need to like join followers and story table. I'm not sure if I have. Okay, so. And what we can do, we can create a special kind of service that fan outs all these stories to appropriate users. So whenever we write, of course, we need to keep this story in database. And we receive story ID. Once our write service gets this story ID, what we can do, we may have some kind of message queue.
Okay.
And post this story ID to message queue. And so why do we need this message queue? Because we don't know how much work we're going to have. At some point, probably at night, we may have like less stories to fan out. And at peak time, we may have a lot of stories to fan out. And so the load is very uneven, and message queue allows us to persist the story IDs for some time, like so we have enough time to scale out if needed the workers that fan out my stories. So we can have a separate database. And this database will keep let's say my feed DB. And it may have something like, user ID. And we need to keep all stories for these users. So, maybe time. And once we get this story, we may have like some fan out workers. That creates this message queue.
Okay.
And updates my feed database. Then what feed display service will do, it just reads this my feed database and returns all story for this for the given user. So there is a problem, however, what I see, like we may subscribe to certain like people, and then we may unsubscribe, and we should update our feed. So what we can do here, we can have some kind of Redis or some kind of in-memory cache where we keep mapping like user ID and all followers for this user. And before feed display service returns all stories, we need to filter out like all stories that are not relevant to the user.
Okay. Sure, that's fine. So let's talk about a couple of things. So you decide to use a fan out. What would be some issues that you see with the fan out idea we have?
So this fan out idea, we may have like very hot stories, or very I mean celebrities problem.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And we may have a lot of likes followers for this celebrities, but for celebrities we may have a separate flow. We may have a list of celebrities. It means that people, for example, that have more than 100K followers. I don't think we're gonna have a lot of such users.
Okay.
But let's say we have 1 million people that have more than 100K followers.
Okay.
So in this case, what may have, we may have keep stories in the cache, and we bypass this fan out like process. And feed display may like we may have it introduce a separate like kind of celebrity service.
Okay, that sounds fine. But could you go into detail how you implement the 100K follower? How does that work exactly?
Oh, okay. So so once we may have I mean, write service can like be responsible for following, unfollowing people. And once like certain user has more than 100K followers, we should move this user to celebrity status. And what it means that we want to, we don't need to like fan out this, I mean, stories for this user. And what we want to do, like feed display service will communicate to celebrity service. Oops.
So could you give me like 30 seconds really quick? I just need to get something.
Okay, sure.
Okay, sorry, I'm back.
So what we do, fit the display service communicates to celebrity service and sends user IDs. And we may have something like has a celebrity API or not has celebrity.
Yeah, that's fine. So one thing I want to kind of touch on is like, you say once you reach 100,000, sometimes celebrity loses followers too, right? How does that work with your system? Like what are some issues that you'd mind see, or some things you need to take care of?
Yeah, so in my feed database, we're gonna have stories from press celebrity user, and in celebrity service we'll also have this data. But when we switch from non-celebrity status to celebrity status, our celebrity service will not have like all the information. So there is like some time when some kind of we need to do some kind of processing, and after we get after we get any right to the service, first step, what we need to do is to to update right service since it's responsible for counting how many followers we have. Right service can send message to celebrity service and to celebrity service and provide all stories. Okay, so switching from non-celebrity to celebrity, our feed database, we may have some celebrity stories, and our celebrity stories may not have stories, and we need to read and put in cache maybe the last 100 stories or story IDs.
Right.
Do you have something specific to ask about specific issue?
Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to get at. Basically, yeah, you'll kind of miss some data and have too much data, depending on which direction you're going.
Yeah, so what we can do, we can put celebrity status, celebrity user ID here, you send user ID, and it may have pending status once we get any requests to get stories from this celebrity service, and we don't have them in cache yet. But what we can do, celebrity service may send requests to. What I would prefer, to have a special service actually that is responsible for stories.
Okay.
Story service, and because we can put cache here and optimize performance, and we may have a lot of services, and only this service may have access to story database, and the rest services like write service, celebrity service, if they need post or get stories, they should communicate through this story service. So I think it will scale better, and we may put some cache to this story service.
Okay.
Story cache. And we may even keep like, so I don't think, so let's think about, so, oops, where is it? Oh, here. So we have 100 million writes per day. And what we actually need to keep, and also, what also, if it's a big scale, we probably need a photo service that communicates with blob store.
Right.
I believe it's like more real, and so it may, and also it has communicates photo service will communicate with blob store, and it may have a cache for some very popular photos.
Okay.
Or we can even use some kind of CDN, content delivery network.
Yeah.
For popular photos.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to go to like any detail about services?
No, I think it's fine. Maybe just last question. Let's just say, how would you scale up your system? Right. You have, I guess, 1 billion users.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's start from there. Like you have 1 billion users, and the assumptions is probably the story table, a single table is probably not going to do it. Right. Even if each person has one feed, it's probably not going to fit. How would you kind of solve that issue? Yeah.
So we definitely need to scale our databases. For like okay, so we need to from let's think about like story database. It may, so first of all, for reliability, we need to have replicas, and we can use something like master slave, like we may have something like write and read replicas.
Okay.
And also we need to do partitioning.
Okay.
And so it doesn't mean that we have a single master database for all for all users. It's going to be like single node. Usually the sharding works like you have let's say 10K shards, and each shard has node. It has a master and slave, and we may have for different user IDs different masters.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, yeah, I think that's fine. I think we have about 15 minutes left. So yeah, actually, before we jump in, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty popular question. It's very similar to Twitter, Facebook, kind of.
Yeah. It's quite popular. I typically don't ask because I think it's been kind of figured out already in a way. But I think when I do ask or when some people request, when I ask this question, usually the toggle between the 100,000 followers, people struggle with that. Like they don't really understand that, if you go back and forth, what kind of issues that you could potentially have, which you discussed. Like if you don't fan out, right, they become unpopular, then you will start missing their feed. And usually you don't really want to have like a single value where you kind of go back and forth, right? Like it's just too responsive, basically. Yeah, because the system will kind of like go back and forth. So yeah, I think there's having some discussion there, I think would be good. Because like in practice, you wouldn't actually say like, if this, then do this. Because like otherwise every time goes like in between, you'll need to do a backfill, or you need to, maybe you don't need to dedo, but you might end up seeing two duplicate posts, right? Because once you fan out and then you do a read on the actual hash. So I think kind of recognizing that edge case and talking about that. The duplicate is probably okay. It's like edge case.
Duplicate, I was thinking about like that fit display service will process everything and to create a single feed of stories, single response. And in this response, we will not get any duplicates. So we combine data from celebrity service and let's say story service.
Yeah. But if like let's just say they were not a celebrity, and then you do a fan out to your feed database, and then they become celebrity, basically you will get two of the same thing, right? You will get it from the celebrity, you will also get it from the feed.
Yeah, but feed displays anyways always do two requests, one to celebrity service and one to my feed database. And after that, we just in this feed display service has a logic.
Sure, you can dedupe there for sure.
Logic to combine and disregard like all duplicates. So
sure, that's fine. It's I think my point
is in my mind it's like it was very clear, but I didn't speak about this. It's
extra computing.
Be more careful.
Yeah, because it is extra computation. I mean, depends on how you do it. If the feeds are sorted, then it's pretty fast. But if it's not, then you need to do like a hash map, in-memory hash map type of dedupe, which you didn't need to. You just had to do like a sort by ranking. Depends on how you store your data. But it is an extra computation that's potentially non-trivial. But anyway, my point is kind of, at least in interviews, recognizing it and then talking about it. It's like talking about it kind of gives you a lot of brownie points, even though you might not have a solution yet. And the backfill too. Like if they become not a celebrity, you need to backfill your feed. So I think people struggle to recognize that. They kind of quote unquote memorized it. And then I start talking about scalability. I think it's fine. I think you're just like, before you actually do like sharding, you have read replicas to scale out the read, things like that. So I think that's fine. So I feel like I kind of forgot exactly our flow, but I feel like you were pretty organized. You kind of went through the requirement. You defined the APIs, super clear on what you wanted to do. And then I feel like your diagram is pretty clear. You have your GIF feed, you have your post story. And I guess the diagrams are pretty clean too. You have your schema lower left. I know exactly what you're writing. So I think this one, and like the toggle between, I think good that you recognize some of them as well. Actually, I did have a question now that we have some time. The REST APIs. Sorry, not the the REST. I am curious, why is it not something like API/user/photos? Why isn't there photos? Like, because I think API/user ID is touching the user ID, like the user, right?
Oh.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I would expect some /photos or something.
Yeah.
Because a user can have multiple photos. Or feed, actually, in this case. Feeds.
Yeah, I think it can be like something like story, and
Yeah,
we provide
story.
like user ID, so some authentication token in the both. Oh,
Yeah, I was just wondering because I didn't want to spend too much time on that, but
Okay.
because it's just REST API design. But I was just kind of curious why it was the resource is user, not story.
Mhm.
Okay, story ID, I think that's fine. Story you're getting, yeah. Since it's a get, yeah, get, you use the parameters instead of body. That's good. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, I guess, yeah, I think this round went pretty
Yeah.
clean. Yeah, I guess, did you have any specific question? I mean, the discussion point, I feel like is fine. Maybe,
Okay.
yeah, you can share some of your thoughts more with the D2, but I think generally you kind of recognize the problem, so.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time. The interview.
Yeah. Oh, okay,
Okay.
cool. Yeah. Also, yeah. Thanks for your time. Yeah. Best of luck with your interview.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.